Good evening, my friends and colleagues. This is Dr. Kandari. I would like to talk to you about the phase that we are in Kuwait, about the coronavirus and the situation in Kuwait. First of all, whatever the Kuwaiti government is doing, honestly, is the best thing you can ever have among all the countries that you are seeing around. The government of Kuwait, they closed the airport, and this is for the sake of the people who are living in Kuwait. They closed the airports so that nobody can get in, and then they started very cleverly to screen those people who came from the 27th of February onward, and they chose some nationality first, and then they're gonna go over the other nationalities. The purpose of this is extremely important, is to try and find out those who are infected as much as we can and try to isolate them, whether they're going to be home isolated or they're going to be isolated. If they were infected, they're going to be isolated in the hospital. Now, the fact is that today we have 100 cases. And thank God, all those 100 cases, the majority, they came from the places which they were isolated. A lot of them, about 90% of them, or 85 of them, are from Iran. And today they announced a couple of them also were in contact with some patients coming from abroad. And some of them, they were traveling to some cities around the world. Now, this is good because they found all these cases whom they came from outside, or some of them they were communicating with some cases coming, or they were actually relative of the cases who came from outside. Now, again, thank God, we did not find cases in the city or in the mall. A lot of rumors around, but so far we couldn't find anything around us. Most of the people, they are coming from outside. That doesn't mean in the community, according to scientists, in the community there might be some people who are infected, but they are not showing symptoms. Okay, so this is why the government are insisting, please everybody to keep at home as much as you can. Don't go outside unless it's necessary. They stopped all the prayers, they stopped all the public transports, and they stopped all the gatherings, family gatherings. So this is just to make people stay home and as much as they can. There is no rules or regulations that says people cannot get out. No, that's not true. It's just about making people stay home. It's extremely difficult. I mean, look around each one of you. It's very difficult to say to the family not to come to your house. It's very difficult to ask some Kuwaiti family to stop family gathering, or some Indian nationalities, for example, or Egyptian or any other nationalities, not to gather, and the kids, they want to play with the others and so on. So socializing is extremely difficult to stop, but the government is trying to put the information. The less gathering you have, the more safe it is. So this is the message at this stage. Now, the second point is as follows. Be careful not to listen to outside news. Now, don't listen to news from other countries. That's not implemented in Kuwait. Kuwait is taking very tough measurements. We are way beyond other countries in taking these kind of steps. We are proud of that. And I've said it to you, and I've said it to so many of colleagues, that to have a coronavirus in Kuwait, it's better than to have coronavirus anywhere else. Now, this is because we have a very good health system. We have a very tough rules and regulation. Our governments, which we are really proud of, they are not caring about losing money or losing businesses. It's caring about people. And this is what makes Kuwait is different. Not because I'm a Kuwaiti, it's because this is the truth. They don't care about airlines, whether they lost. They don't care about stopping the airport by losing business. They don't care about whether restaurants they closed or clubs they closed. People are their most priority at this stage. And this is, we have to be thankful. A lot of people are going to lose business. That's fine. If we can contain it within a month, people are going to go back happy. The sooner the better. So the situation is extremely tense. However, let's talk about some facts. And the fact is, all the cases they found so far are from outside, very few from the inside, whom they are communicating with people who came from outside. So this is the fact, right? So still we are this stage, and look what happened to Italy, for example. The last message I spoke to you, there were only 100 cases, maybe 2 fatalities. Now they have more than 17,000, 15 to 17,000 cases and more than 1,000 deaths. Now, we are not talking about other governments, whether they are doing good or bad. That depends on their own situation. But the Kuwaiti government, they acted really ahead of anybody else. And this is what we are proud of. And this is why you feel safe in Kuwait. And this is how you feel that the government is really keen and caring about people rather than about football clubs, or rather about stopping this airline, whether it's going to lose money, this airport or not. Look at the media. They are worrying about football. They are worrying about losing business. They are worrying about how they're going to, this company is losing money or this country. In Kuwait, thank God, people are the priority. And this is where we should be feeling more safe, calm, and we should also know that it might get a little bit tense or a little bit worse, but we are taking the right precaution. Now, the fact we should also remember that out of 100 cases, there is 98 cured, and it's only less than 1% which they're going to have difficulties. So please, for those who have underlying conditions, chronic heart disease, COPD, or some kind of lung disease, if they are diabetes, if they are asthmatic, elderly, please, those people we need to take care of. We need to make sure that they have the best care, and they have the opportunity to have a priority in the medical treatment in the hospital. No need to panic. It's just what the scientists are saying. Even if you have, so there will be so many of us will have normal flu, okay? Normal flu, it's not a coronavirus. This is the season of a normal flu. So you don't have a temperature, so this is a normal flu, right? So most likely to be a normal flu. But even if those who have, there are more than 20 to 30% of people will have coronavirus with very minimal symptoms. That's why if you are keeping at home, it will be better not to get other people infected. But we have to also learn that this is the season of the normal flu season. So there will be people who have nasal blockage or congestion or some sore throat. But the key symptoms, again, of the coronavirus, you're going to have fever, runny nose, cough, and some body ache. So if you have these kind of symptoms, there is a chance. It's not for certain. There is a chance that you have some kind of symptoms related to coronavirus. But there are people who have these symptoms, and in 2-3 days they became well and they are fine. So this is most likely to be a normal flu. Now, what the scientists also saying that even if you have those symptoms, please stay at home for the first 7 days. Because the most important from starting the symptoms, so the first 7 days, you are more likely to infect other people. Okay, so if you are having these symptoms, stay at home. If it's get difficult, then please go and check in the hospital. But then if you are happy and you are taking some kind of Panadol or your temperature is controlled, then you are fine. So this is the scientists, what they are saying worldwide. Okay, now different scientists also, they have different point of view. The other facts and which we need to know very quickly, a lot of people are talking about what if somebody got infected, and then how many days they have to stay in the hospital. Somebody who's infected, usually they will take 4 to 5 weeks or up to 6 weeks before they will get well. And for the Ministry of Health to discharge them, by the WHO rules and regulation, they should have 2 negative tests within 24 hours from each other. So those who are released from hospitals after they've been infected, and there are 5 cases cured in Kuwait so far. The rest you will hear hopefully in the next couple of days. There are so many of them will be cured as well. Those who are cured, they had 2 coronavirus tests negative within 24 hours from each other. Okay, so then they will be released, and then they will be safe to be communicating with other people. And those who are kept in isolation, whether home or a government isolation, they have to stay 14 days because they are saying that the virus between 2 and 14 days, it will show symptoms and it will show positive tests. Some of you heard the news that it's more than 14 days. For those who were in the isolation, in the government isolation, their relative were infected. So they have to start counting the 14 days again. So if you are staying in the isolation, day number 10, and they found your husband or your brother who was staying in the isolation with you, infected and positive, and you are not showing any symptoms, and your test is negative, you have to stay another 14 days from the day they found your brother is positive. So this is what happened in some cases in Kuwait. They stayed more than 14 days because they found some of their relative became positive. So they have to count all over again the 14 days for this person. So please, when you take some information from the media, try to make sure it is from the right source. And again and again, you've heard all the official people, including the Ministry of Health, saying and begging people, in fact, please stay at home. It's more safe. No need to go out. The government gave you the holiday. So please stay at home. And this is in order to calm things down and try to, the virus is wandering around, trying to find some people can be infected. So try to communicate with your family around using the phone and messages probably, rather than communicating directly. Try to learn when you just say hi from far away, rather than just direct communication. And then again, please make sure you wash your hands as many and as much as you can. And this is much important than the alcohol or using any materials for washing the hands. Just a normal water and soap, that's more than enough. And try to use it frequently. So a lot of other informations about the coronavirus, how long it will last on a normal surface. The study says that it's a couple of hours, it stays on the surface. So rapid cleaning of the table, of the things that you're using, just with normal water and any kind of cleaner you have around in the house, that will be more than enough. Even if you have to go to your office, to your place, just a normal wash and normal cleaning of the surface will be more than enough. to protect yourself. Using the mail, using the money and the package and all these issues, there are studies saying that different things. So science are not really sure about these kind of things. But the mail, getting a mail, a box, whether by airplane or by a ship, definitely it will not have a virus, because usually the virus will not last for a couple of days, even in the surface, and usually by the ships it will take more than 45 days to reach Kuwait if the ports are open. And in the airplane it's minus 40, so no virus will survive at this temperature. So these are kind of things, whether I can handle such a package received by somebody. This is just to answer them. And we have to know that most people, the majority of people who have symptoms, it's going to be very mild, okay? It's going to be extremely mild symptoms. So the message is clear here. Just follow what the government is telling. And this stage, you remember the first stage, we said just wash your hands and try to wear the mask if you are communicating with people who are coughing. And the stage that was the first stage like 2 weeks ago. This stage now they were in is to stop all the unnecessary trips that you need to take, stop all the family gathering, and this is the step that we are in. We are trying to delay the peak of the virus. So what the government is doing here is to try to delay the coronavirus peak, try to extend it a little bit in order to allow the health system to cope. So please understand the reason of this. So instead of having 10,000 cases in one day, the government is trying to spread this out, to have 20 cases, to have 30 cases per day, to allow the health system to cope with these people and to save life and to allow the community to cope. So we don't want the peak that happened in Italy. So because they did not listen to the government officials about, stay indoor and stop the family gathering. So they had this kind of peak. So within 10 days in Italy, for example, they had 10,000 or 15,000 cases per day. Now, there is no health system around the world can cope with such huge number of patients, especially now the other feature of Italy, you all know, that's mainly elderly people. So 25% of the population in Italy is elderly people. Average age is 81. Okay, so we have to understand why there was a huge number of deaths. Not because they don't have a good health system. Yes, they have, but it's mainly elderly people. Okay, so the population in Kuwait is totally different. We cannot compare ourselves to Italy. This will calm you down a little bit. Okay, but what the government is doing is trying to spread this kind of peak over a couple of weeks in order for the system to cope and in order for the government, rather than rushing things in 10 days, we can do it over 4 or 5 weeks. Everybody will be getting the best care. So this is the situation, and please do not listen to rumors around. Do not listen to incidents, right? So, and the more you look at the official news, the better. So don't look at the social media so much information, it will get you confused. So best of luck, everybody, and I hope you understand the situation. And as I said, I'll finish up by saying we are all lucky to be in Kuwait with this government, whom they are doing their best, and they care about people more than money. So people is so much important, and you can see, look around you, and you can see what the other governments are doing, and look what Kuwait is doing, shutting down everything, trying to save people rather than to save money. So God bless you all, and hopefully everybody will get well, and soon this will go out, and soon this will end the high peak that we are having and the world is having. And there are facts. In China now, they closed all the 14 hospitals they created, because now in China almost the peak is finished, and now in their plateau phase, or they are going down, only 20, 18, 15 cases per day in China, because they stayed at home, right? So in South Korea, the same. Peak is the number of cases is going down now, and it's going up somewhere else. So this is how promising that China now, things are getting much better. And I hope we are learning, also the governments are learning from the good and bad things happen in other countries, and they are acting accordingly. Wish you all the best, my friends, and stay safe, and wish you all the best. Thank you.